The MLB have gone through a lot of rule changes this year, most notably the pitch clock, the biggest one for MLB right now. And
best thing that happened for baseball.
You training in the minor leagues, especially, were you adjusted, kind of blindsided by the pitch clock, or was it something that you adjusted to well?
If you guys have ever watched me pitch, I have the fastest tempo I think maybe ever. So it never once bothered me. But I love it. I think there is a little bit more strategy into it now. Being a player, I love the games are 45 minutes shorter on average. And I think it's going to be something that in a couple months from now, there's going to be no violations. Everyone's going to be on board with it, and it's going to, like, that's kind of how it started for us last year. The first we had the pitch clock for the whole year last year. The first month, guys ran into some problems, and after that, it's pretty much smooth sailing. Nobody dealt with anything. So I love it. It doesn't bother me at all. That's kind of how I pitch anyway. If anything, it makes me like I'm the only guy that throws the ball when there's double-digit seconds left on the clock, so maybe I need to slow down, which helps me. But yeah, I think it's a good thing, and I think people are going to adapt to it, and it's going to be a positive change.
We are talking to free agent, relief pitcher, and co-owner of Baseball Performance Center, Mike Adams. It's so funny, Mike. We talk about how fast your release is. You can probably teach half the players or half the pitchers in the league to figure out what their release point is, because half of them don't know what it is. I have watched enough baseball in the last 2 weeks to say that half these pitchers have been getting away with holding the ball over 15 seconds. And to me, it doesn't speed up the game. It makes the game more boring to watch. And during the regular season, the game could take 3 hours, 4 hours, and then you just get restless. Unless you're going to a real live game, you're watching on TV. I'm like, I'm going to just pop on to the next game, and then the next game, and then the next game. And then when basketball comes on at like 8, 9 o'clock, I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to watch basketball. I think this helps baseball. What are your thoughts to maybe some of the transition of new rules of your own that could help the game even move faster or make it more interesting?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, no one really likes change, but I think obviously all the change they're making is positive. I still don't know how the drop third strike is still like a rule. That one pretty much baffles me. Like, if I throw a pitch that's so bad that the catcher can't catch it, but you swing, like, it maybe should count for more than one out or more than one strike. I don't even know how that's still a rule. But I don't love the bigger bases, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't, that one's a little bit different, a little weird to me. The pickoff is fine, and the pitch clock is good. But I think, it'll be interesting to see how the automatic strike zone will do this year. Because, now as you're starting to see like the reports that come out about the umpires and how their calls affected the game with, this many runs, it just makes sense, for robot umpires to be, keep it completely even.
Of course.
And I think that's just gonna happen at some point. It just, it's kind of them figuring out the most bulletproof plan for it and running it out in AAA and seeing how they react to it, and then getting the strike zone completely dialed in. I know they measure everybody's strike zone now, and so then it differs from batter to batter. But I'm for the rule changes. I think they only make the game better. They make it more appealing to fans.
Do you have a rule that you've been thinking about adding to baseball? If you were the commissioner of baseball, could you add a rule that would be interesting for the fans and be more intriguing for the fans to watch the game even more than they do right now?
I mean, I actually saw this one rule that the Savannah Bananas use, and if you hit a foul ball into the crowd and they catch it, that you get an out. I would love to have 10,000 more fielders for me in the stands. That always be beneficial, and I think that everybody would show up with their glove, and it'd be kind of fun.
It's not a bad idea.
If that one will ever get approved, but I would love it, to be honest with you.
Like, this is the Savannah Bananas to be revolutionary.
Yeah.
That means you would have to pay all those. Then you would have to pay everybody that's coming to the game, especially if they catch the ball.
And you know how it is. Like, some stadiums have a lot of foul ground, some have none. So it's like, maybe they mark off a section that everyone has, and if the ball gets hit in there and it gets caught, you play it.